Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Katelyn, and today we are doing a kind of like new little mini series that I've been kind of playing around with for a little while. So I really like Dungeons & Dragons, and I really like RPGs and role-playing games and different things like that, and I thought it'd be really fun to design some YouTubers and other art friends of mine as RPG characters. So today I am live on Twitch, and I'm going to ask my community which YouTubers we want to draw, and they'll pick from a straw poll, and then we will also pick their class. They could be like a warrior, a paladin, a rogue, lots of different RPG classes. So let's see what the Twitch community wants me to draw today. All right, so the Twitch chat has voted for which YouTuber, and it's between Jazza, Casey Golden, James the Box Office Artist, Super Drizzle, Super Ray Drizzle, I can pronounce usernames, and Lavender Town. So the results are, of course, Jazza won. So we're gonna draw Jazza as, and the couple classes we have to pick from are a Bard, Druid, Ranger, Mage, and Paladins. All right, so the final thing that they picked was a Bard or a Mage. Ooh, it's tied. So let's do, okay, Bards are technically like they have spells that they can use that are applied to their music or singing. So we could just make him a magical Bard. Yeah, a magical Bard. It's a bit of both. So I'm gonna jump in, we'll do some rough sketches to try to figure out how to combine Jazza with these different attributes and make him a cool RPG character. I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, so I know that this is traditionally not what I do with my planning sketches. I usually do some detailed shots or a couple different ideas, but I thought I would just go ahead and run with this sketch. I'm kind of liking going for the overly Australian look, and I'm loving it. So first of all, we have this long magey coat vest thing that's made out of crocodile skin, and for his staff, the Twitch chat had the idea of making it a didgeridoo. So he's gonna have a giant didgeridoo staff. And then since Jazza's actually a drummer, we're giving him a side drum with like probably some cool skins and whatnot. And then overall, I'm gonna try to make the costume look like it's in an RPG, but also have a little bit of remnants of traditional, stereotypical Australian things. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump in. We're gonna take this sketch and I'm gonna refine it, and we'll start doing the line art and the color, and we will go from there. I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started with this final drawing of the Mage Bard Jazza combo. And I gotta say, guys, I was super excited to start this series. I have a long list, like a Word document, of all the different YouTube ideas I have, and this was one of them, and I was super stoked to start it. Because first and foremost, yes, I love designing monsters, I love designing creatures. It's probably my top #1 thing that I love to do. But I think also tied for first is character design. Right now I'm creating like my own series, Fox Among Hounds. If you guys want to learn more about it, you can go over to my Patreon. You can get behind the scenes access there, or even on my Instagram, I drop a bunch of sketches and doodles here and there, so you can kind of get an idea of the characters. But I've been having a blast designing those characters, and then every time I've played Dungeons & Dragons or some type of RPG, I always draw my character. I really love just getting the character that I have in my mind out on paper, and I think one of my favorite things to do with character design is, I guess, brainstorming and figuring out how the items and different characteristics about the character actually apply to their design and functionality. So for example, like I made a Dragonborn rogue forever ago, and I just had so much fun. First of all, the color theory behind characters I really love doing, and then with that, I also designed, I guess, practicality for her. I'm like, all right, well, where would she store her knives? Where's her pouches for her different, like, add-ons and trinkets and, like, the caltrops and all these other things that she would hold? And then what type of knives does she have? What does the design look like? What type of armor, what type of layering to the armor is there? And I just have so much fun thinking about that and the practicality behind a character design. Actually, now that I'm looking at Jazza's, I should have included some type of pouch or backpack or something, because he has no way of storing anything unless he can like open up his drum, or he has, maybe that's it. Maybe his didgeridoo is actually magical. Like he just stuffs things into it and it just gets stored away like a bag of holding, but it's a didgeridoo of holding. I don't know how that would work, but maybe it's his drum. I think the drum might be a little more practical for that one, but little things like that I like to brainstorm and think about when I do character design. And especially for Jazza, I knew since he was a bard and he's actually a drummer in real life, I had to include a drum, and then I just loved making him overly Australian. So if you're watching this, Jazza, I don't know if you'll see this, but either way, you were a blast to make super stereotypical, overly Australian RPG character. And I actually had a lot of fun trying to convert, I guess you could say, like the quote-unquote modern stereotypical Australian into an RPG character. Like, I had a couple images of the Crocodile Hunter and Crocodile Dundee and a couple other, I guess, famous characters that are, like, overly Australian. I had those up on my screen for reference, and I was trying to figure out how can I convert these to look like old-timey clothes, but they still really look Australian. And I also had a couple of different fun patterns that you would see, like, on didgeridoos or kind of the Aboriginal art and colors and looks, and tying all of those things together really helped this design look very Australian and kind of authentic and kind of old, and I just love how it turned out in the end. So I'll just jump into what process I'm in right now. Right now I am doing the line work in Photoshop, so I'm using the Clean Comics pen from the Kyle T. Webster pack. I've talked about it here and there before, but I don't think I've plugged my tools in a little bit. So I'm using the Kyle T. Webster Clean Comics brush, and I just love that brush so much. It makes inking really simple, and it's really great. And with the inking process, this gives me the opportunity to kind of refine and add some texture. So I had a really fun time adding all the crocodile scales and spines, which is a blast. Like, if you guys want a fun, just kind of I don't know what to, a mindless, that's what it is. A mindless task to do, just ink a crocodile, and it's amazing. You just have all these little spines and scales and different like kind of circular scales and shapes and bumps and everything all over that type of skin. And it was just a lot of fun to just do the inking for his, I guess you would call it a robe. I'm gonna call it a crocodile robe. So that was really fun to ink, and then it was nice to add the little details and really start to see the design come together. Because with the rough sketch, I didn't have all those extra little things. Like on the didgeridoo, I didn't put the, I guess, Aboriginal design, and I didn't have the extra designs on like his armband or his, I guess, gauntlets in a way. I didn't have all that there, so it was nice to slowly see it come together. Also, fun thing for anyone looking to do character design, one thing I'd really recommend is doing asymmetry. Basically, when you have a character design, even if you want them to have kind of similar things on both sides, try to push and do different things on both sides. So it already helps that he has the didgeridoo on one side and the drum on the other. That already gives you some asymmetry because he's not having like a drum on each side or a didgeridoo on each side. But like little things like the armband, I have on his left arm, he has the, I guess, full gauntlet up his forearm, and then he also has a smaller armband, but then on his right arm, he only has a small wristband. That can really help give some different personality and life to the character just by adding those little details. And then just don't be afraid to play around with color. Like this one, I kind of had a color palette in mind, but it also is fun to do the asymmetry with a color palette as well. So his armband and his gauntlet do have similar colors, but I made sure to have them stripe a little bit different, and I added an additional separate color to the armband to kind of make it look like they're a part of the same set, but also a little different. So yeah, with that, we're already into the color, and I'm adding all the little details to like the didgeridoo, and I love saying that word, by the way. This is this is so much fun to record because I'm just saying didgeridoo a million times. I'm just adding all the little details and painted elements to that didgeridoo, and then I'm going to be jumping into the drum and all the extra little bits left of this coloring process. So now with all the base colors out of the way and me finishing up the little kangaroo dragon, we're going to be jumping into the shading real quick here. And if you guys would like, I'm actually going to be including this file as my Patreon Photoshop file of the month. So if you want to see how I do my layer effects and basically what I do to create this piece, you can go over to my Patreon. There will be a link at the end card and down in the description to figure out how I do the different layers, what layer mask and effects I apply to this character, and then you can just kind of see my process and thought behind it. I will also include the brush presets for what I used for the shading, so then you can kind of see how I did the different layers of shading. And this was kind of something different. I don't usually shade like this, and I've been kind of experimenting on the side with how I want to render my characters. I think that's been one of the hardest things for me recently, is just deciding how I want to color, because on one hand, I used to color a lot like cell shading, kind of similar to this one, like a anime cell shade, cartoon cell shade, and I didn't dislike it, but I always felt like maybe it wasn't enough, like maybe it's kind of, I don't know, not rendered enough. And I'm kind of slowly getting over that. I like the idea and the look of it because I'm seeing other artists doing it successfully and it looks gorgeous. You just have to push it a little bit more or add some more effects and it will help it not be as flat. And then also keeping in mind what types of material you're shading and what, I guess, the reflective qualities of that will be. And just keeping that in mind helps the cell shading kind of be more believable. And then you have the whole other side of the equation where I see all the like beautifully rendered things. Like if you guys don't know Ross Draws, like he's amazing. But like his stuff, I can't even wrap my mind around how that man works. Like it's amazing. But I'm always such at odds with myself on if I want to go back to the, I guess, the cell shading look and refine it and make it look really clean and nice, because I still really love it. And it actually will help the production of my series go a lot smoother and cleaner. But then on the other side, the painterly look like from Ross Draws and so many other people I follow on Instagram just looks amazing. So I don't know if you guys struggle with that. I'd love to know your thoughts. Let's put up a little poll right here. Do you guys struggle with how, I guess, you feel of coloring? Do you experiment with a million different things? Because I know I do all the time. And I'd love to hear what artists you kind of inspire towards down in the comments. Like drop me a link to an artist that you currently look up to, or you just love how they color. I want to know some color inspirations. All right, guys, and we are all done with our Jazza Mage Bard, and I think he looks fantastic. I'm actually super proud of this one. I haven't really drawn a really, I guess, flowy, movement-filled person in a long time, and it just feels really good to be able to do it again and actually execute it pretty well. And I think this fits Jazza pretty well. I mean, it's really overly Australian, but I think I kind of like it that way. But either way, he's got like a nice like gator skin cloak type of thing. He has a drum since he's a drummer, and then he has his didgeridoo staff to tie in the mage, but still keep it a little bit of a bard. And then I was reminded by the Twitch chat that mages usually have some type of familiar, so I gave him a kangaroo dragon. I thought that was just kind of fun and fitting, and he's a little cute add-on to this drawing. So either way, this turned out great. I absolutely loved it. I tried something new with my shading and coloring, and I'm very happy with it. So I hope that you guys liked it as well. And while we're at it, I'm gonna put a poll right here. Let me know which one of my YouTube art friends you would like to see me draw next, and then let's do some class picks. I want you guys to pick this time. Tell me which class and which artist you want me to draw next time. So thanks again so much for stopping by and checking out this video. And if you guys aren't already, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I have new videos every week, and this is gonna be an ongoing series. I absolutely love doing this, and I love making some famous figures into some really kick-ass RPG characters. So thanks again, guys, for stopping by, and I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.